1999 Toyota GT1 race car in VR. Hello there everybody and welcome to OpenFed Gaming. I am the OpenFed. We are driving a 1999 Toyota GT1 TS020 in a World Touring Car 900. We're driving it at the 24-hour Du Mans racetrack. We're doing 10 laps. We started 20th of 20 cars and we started with a rolling start. Now these laps are going to take a while to do because they're fairly lengthy. And the very first thing I always like to talk about when I do a race that's this long is that there is no way in this world that any of us, not a car on the track, is going to be able to do all 10 laps on one tank. Now I know for a fact with this particular race car, I know I have to fuel up twice because I can't quite get 5 laps out of one tank. So the 4 for sure, but that means 4, 4, and 2. So that's 2 fuel ups. So I decided what I'm going to do is go 3 laps, fuel up, go 3 more, and then do the 4 at the end. And that way I can right away see if 3 laps is not too much for the tire wear. So having said that, the first thing we want to make sure we know is where the pit entrance is, and if we know where the pit exit is, that'd be so much better, because then you know if when you come out of the pits, if you can boot it right away, or if there's a corner coming up that you might overshoot if you throttle up right away. So let's take a look at that the first time around. In the meantime, let's enjoy this race. Absolutely gorgeous track, beautiful car to drive, lots of power, handles the track really well. Now you might think that I souped this baby up, it being able to go this fast, but I didn't. I took it straight out of the garage, never touched the tuning, never touched the power, the motor, nothing. Just took it out from when I first got it, which I can't even remember when that was, but it's been sitting there waiting for the OpenFed to drive, and today was the day. Now, if you look on the greenish readout on the left hand side on the dash, you can see that in the top right hand corner is a 1. Now that's the lap counter, which is good because that helps the OpenFed out, because sometimes he forgets what lap he's in. But now, no excuses. Now, car counter doesn't make any difference because everybody has different strategies for going to the pits, and they will go in there in and out at different times, so you never know what position you're in. It would be nice if you did. I mean, that would really help out. That'd be a big kudos for the game. Anyhow, we don't have that, so unless even if you keep track of the cars you pass, you could be passing cars in the lineup while they're in the pit stop and you're not, and you're going by. So we gotta wait till the end of the race to find out what position we're in, and we're good with that. We're gonna go 3 laps. 3 laps before we get fuel. Now, the pit stop, the entrance, is on the right-hand side coming up here. And if you keep an eye out, you'll see a long stretch of blue paint on the right-hand side. It should be coming up fairly quickly here. That is your cue. Okay, a little bit further. Right about here is the blue paint on the right hand side. When that blue paint stops, just after that is the pit entrance. Okay, so we know where that is, not a problem. Now the exit, let's take a look and see if we can find where the exit is. Obviously it's past the grandstand here. As we're ripping through and finishing our first lap, now the pit exit is also on the right hand side. And it is right where that green overpass thingy is. It's right here on the right hand side. So you can come out fairly fast, and it's a gradual turn. So just remember that. Now it looks like we're getting a little bit of rain. I hope that this doesn't turn into some sort of a cloud burst for 2 or 3 or 4 laps, because we don't have our wet tires on. And if this continues, well, then by the time we end this lap here, we should decide on whether we want to go in early, go in after 2 laps, then we'd end up having to make it 2, 4, and 4. But we'd have to decide whether we want to do that and change our tires to wets. Now it doesn't look that bad out there. It looks like it's fairly decent bluish, just some light hazy clouds, so maybe we'll be okay. we're just going to keep an eye on that. So now this track I've driven quite a bit, and I'm pretty familiar with it. I know where the turns are that are coming up, and I know when I should start braking. So overshooting corners, which still happens, but it shouldn't because of the amount of times that I've driven this track. So it's nice if you do a practice run, so you can do a few laps so you know what it's like. And this track has got some really nice straight stretches in it, like the one that we're on right now. You can just open it up and let it go. Now, when you do get to some of these here little corners, like this one coming up, then if you're right behind somebody, there's no point in trying to pass anybody during these here little sections or any other twisty turns, because here again, you got lots of room and a fairly lengthy spot again where you can pass. And what I really like about this track is that the track is so wide, right? I mean, even when there's two cars driving side by side, if you want to get around them, there's still room. So that's a nice thing, a wide track for passing. So as we're coming around the corner, at that point that we just passed, I consider about the halfway point of the lap. So we've gone about a lap and a half so far. Now, there again, we passed a bunch of cars, but I can't remember how many we passed. But we will see that on the display when we go in for fuel, which will be in another lap, because it looks like the rain is stopping. It looks like the sun is climbing a little higher in the sky, and the track is dry. It doesn't look like we're going to get any more rain, but well, the sensors are still saying, you're wrong, Opafet, we still got some moisture coming down. But I think we're going to be okay. I don't think we're going to go into the pit stop at the end of this lap. I think it's fairly dry. So we're going to sneak by this guy a little bit too close, but we got by there. And I think we're going to bypass the pit stop this time and do our 3 laps that we initially intended to do. Now, this track, I tell you, it is one of my favorites. This one and the Yas Marina circuit has caught up. Whoa, look at him coming by me there. Wasn't expecting that. I guess I was going a little bit too slow around the corners there. But now, as you can tell, there's really no place to pass here. And where there is a little bit of room, the cars go too fast. You can't pass them. So you might as well just resign yourself to the fact that through this section, you're behind them, and you're going to stay behind whoever is in front of you. And you got to wait until you get through these little turns here. And now you got a little bit of a straight section, but unless, of course, you're right behind the car, it's pretty tough to catch him and pass him here. So we're going to use this little section just to catch up to him, and then that way we're right with him when we get to the spot where we can pass. Now here again, a little twisty back and forth, and it's really difficult to try and go very fast. So passing somebody is just, I always just follow them through this area, and I wait. I lay in wait until right around, not this corner, but the next one. When you go around that next corner, wait till you come right out of it so you don't spin out. Wait till you get to about right here, you can start hammering down. Just slowly go faster, faster. Now you can go wide open, and you got a little bit of room. We could probably catch, well, 1 car anyhow, well, maybe 2. There you go. Well, I tell you, this thing is just like speed on wheels. Unbelievable how fast it drives. Which makes it really difficult because, of course, you've got to concentrate on keeping it in the right spot, braking at the right time, turning. Gives me a whole new sense of appreciation for people that do this for a living. Because I tell you, I have a tough time doing this for 10 laps in Gran Turismo. Could you imagine if you had to do this in real life? It would take you a lot more than 4 minutes for a lap, I can tell you that. No, it's a tough job, but boy, I tell you, when you're sitting behind the steering wheel with your pedals and you're flipping in and out, it's very rewarding. So now we're in our 3rd lap and we're almost halfway done. And I gotta say, if I had to guess, that we probably passed about 10 cars So we should be coming into the pit stop about 9th or 10th, I believe. I'm not sure. We're going to find out. Let's see if I guessed right. So here is that point again. Like I said, I view this as the halfway point. So 2.5 laps. And we're going to be at the pit stop fairly quickly. Now we can take these guys too there. I don't get too excited in 10-lap races because you got lots of time. And there again too, you know, when you think about it, when the race is done, what was the most fun, winning or driving the race? Yeah, for me, it's got to be driving the race, you know. You like to do well, and you like to win, but if you come in first, second, third, or fourth in a race like this, I tell you, I'm okay with that, because that shows that you've had a good time. Stayed for the whole 10 laps, and you battled it out with the rest of the combatants, and you came in third or fourth. That's not bad out of a field of 20. So, you know, it all depends on what your bottom line is. If you have to win, then nothing will serve other than being first. I just have to have fun. If I'm not having fun, then what's the point in doing it? Now we're coming up here to that little area again where you're going to twist back and forth. So there's no way we're going to pass this guy in front of us. He's going to stay in front of us right to the pit stop. And that's okay. Like I said, there again, I prefer to drive a little bit slower and keep the race a little bit cleaner and keep it on the track than driving too chaotic. Now remember what I said about the pit stop. Blue paint on the right hand side. Now we know this is where we got to go in. There we go. All right, now we get to see how much our tire wear is. Okay, now we came in 6th. We did better than what I thought. I thought 9 or 10. And our tires are, well, not bad. It's just a tiny bit of wear on them, but we're going to change them anyhow. We're in here, and for the amount of extra time that it takes, the boys are pretty quick. Get the old ones off and put the new ones on. I dropped to 10th now, so I guess by the time I leave, I'm going to be halfway down the pack again or more. And here she comes in. All right, let's change the tires. And let's fuel her up right to the top. And now we're coming out at 13th. Off we go. Now remember what I said, you can pretty well hammer it, not bad, halfway. You got this turn right off the bat. Now if you would have hammered it too hard and gone a little bit too straight, you would have crossed the pit line, and then you would have got a penalty. So go a little slower, do it right, and the race is going to take care of itself. As we're in our 4th lap and our counter is showing 4. So we got 7 laps, just under 7 laps left to go, and we're in 10th. So halfway up the pack. We'll have to wait and see. I think like I said, we're going to do another 3 laps, and then we'll go in again after 6, and then we'll do 4 for the last. It looks like the weather's cleared up. Looks like there's not going to be any rain, and I don't expect any for the rest of the race. So that means the track's going to be nice and dry. We can take maybe a few extra liberties in the corners, maybe slow down a little bit later and speed up a little bit quicker with a dry track, and catch up to the next guy a little bit faster, maybe move up to the front of the pack. But we'll see. Like I said, we're not even halfway through the race yet, and we just passed a few more cars already. So we've already moved up. We're in the front pack of the group of cars. And this guy, that yellow guy, he's pretty slow. I think we passed him a few times now. As we're coming through here, but I tell you, this particular race, this is the fastest race, the longest race that I've ran in Gran Turismo, period. Whether it was before my VR days or during my VR days. I find in race cars like this, because they have the side padding for the headrests, and when you turn your head a little, you can see the side padding. Not that that's a problem, but I find that the view of the outside world is a little bit claustrophobic in these race cars, and for that reason, I've always kind of shied away from racing them, and then of course the longer laps. But I've gotten used to them, and I've gotten more. I just gotten interested in them, and I started doing them, and they came out pretty good, you know. Like I placed not bad, and the race itself was good. I could keep the car on the track, except for here, I overshot it, and I shouldn't be doing that after the amount of times I've driven this track. But okay, we'll let that go for today. And you know, I think it's a very cool race. A beautiful car. The inside looks awesome. I just like the windshield to be a little bit bigger so I can see more of the outside world, the track, and the trees and everything else. You know, one car that's particularly bad for viewing out of is the Viper. I tried driving that, and the windshield was so small I couldn't do it. But I'm going to have to go back and revisit that one again too, because I want to be able to do all of it. Anyhow, as we're coming up around the corner here, we're finishing our 4th lap, and going to be starting the last lap of the first half of the race. Boy, I tell you, this race is going to take a little bit of time, and like I said, I don't normally drive races quite this long because, well, several different reasons: concentration, not being able to do it, not being good enough. But we're practicing and we're getting better, because this race turned out all right. It looked pretty good. We're starting our 5th lap. We got this one and one more to go, and then we'll go for fuel again. We'll see if we've actually moved up, because the first time we went in for fuel, we were in 6th place, and we left in 13th. So we're going to see what we're going to end up with at the end of 6 laps in this race. Now this track, I tell you, is absolutely beautiful. If you use the full width of the track, you don't have to use your brakes as much, and you don't slow down quite as much. But you have to go from side to side when you take the turns, because otherwise you're putting too much pressure on the tires and the brakes. They're just eating up the track, I tell you. Absolutely fantastic. Maybe one day I'd love to try and drive one of these in real life. Although I don't think it's ever going to happen. But it would be kind of cool, because driving it in VR is close. And it's pretty awesome driving it in VR. Anybody that's still on the fence about VR, I tell you, I bought mine just for playing Gran Turismo. Now, I was expecting to have other games after that, but I initially bought it only for Gran Turismo, and that's what I've done, 99% of it. And for me, because everybody's got their own situation, but for me, it's been worth every penny. Because this is just the most fantastic game I've ever seen. This one and a few other ones, but no other VR racing game have I enjoyed as much as this one. So, you know, it's been worth it, but you have to judge that for yourself. But one thing I will pretty much guarantee you, if you like games like Gran Turismo, Assetto Corsa, and a few of the other ones that have VR capabilities, if you like racing those with your controller on a flat screen, imagine how much more you would like it if you were playing it with a VR headset and a steering wheel and pedals, just as if you're in the car. I'll never forget when I first started racing in VR. Every once in a while you forget you're in VR and you turn to the side and you put your arm on the armrest, but there's nothing there because you're sitting in your closet at home playing. But it was so realistic. It was absolutely fantastic. It just kind of got carried away with it at first, you know. But now you get used to it, but it still feels like you're driving a real car. So anyhow, as we're coming up behind this guy here, we're almost finishing our 5th lap. We got a little ways to go yet. We got one more lap before we go for fuel again. Now I'm not sure how many times the other cars go for fuel, and I would imagine there's a few of them that only need to do it once. So, you know, they could probably go 5 laps. And I could have found a car probably in my garage. I would have had to test drive it. I probably could have found one that would go 5 laps on one tank, and then I would have only had to go into the pits once, because going into the pit stop does take time, and that gets added to your total time. So, you know, if somebody only has to go once and you have to go twice, it's only common sense that your race is going to be longer, and you're going to make up that time on the track. So, and that's pretty tough to make up that kind of time. So we don't know where the comparison is in that. All I know is that I have to do it twice, and this is my 6th lap now. So after we come around to this one, we'll go back in. Now the weather is holding up really nicely, which is just fantastic, because I've been in races before where they're 10 laps and the weather was great, and they started to go a little bad around lap 6, and then worse at 7, and then lap 8 it would start raining. And if you were caught out on the track without wets or intermediates on, your race was pretty well done, because everybody would pass you. At first you could move a little bit, but then the track gets too wet and you're just slipping and sliding all over the place. So you got to account for that. So we got to keep a close eye on the weather and see what it's like and if it's going to change. Now we're already in, like I said, in lap 6, and we're getting close to halfway through, which means that, you know, the closer you get to the end, the more unlikely it is that you're going to see the rain, because the clouds there's no clouds left in the end, just a few little wispy ones straight in front of you there. But other than that, she's pretty well clear. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. Now we got to try and catch up to this guy here. Isn't he the one that passed me once already? So we're going to have to, I don't know if he is, but we're going to pass him again, that's for sure. I think he's the same guy. He's driving the same car that we're driving. The 1999 Toyota GT1 TS020. Absolutely wonderful car. Eventually, I like to be able to have driven every car I've got in my garage, and I've got almost every one of them. I'm still missing a few of the $20 million ones from the Heritage Museum, I think it's called, or Heritage something, I'm not sure. Anyhow, those are about the only ones I miss. So every time I do a different race, I try to use a different car. Now, of course, my memory is not what it used to be, so every once in a while, probably a little bit more than every once in a while, I end up using a car that I've used before, so, you know, bear with me. But usually on a different track, so it is a little different, but I try to get a new car in there every time. Even the little ones that don't have a lot of power and that you might go, wow, I would never drive one of those in real life. All the more reason. Would never drive one in real life or never have the opportunity, why not try it in Gran Turismo? I mean, it's giving you an opportunity to drive older vehicles that you would never even see, let alone own, you know, and it gave me an opportunity to get back into a little Volkswagen Beetle from the 60s. I can't remember what year it was, the one that I drove, but I used to own the 1964 Volkswagen Beetle, so it was kind of cool. It brought me back to my youth, and I got to race it in a race here in a Beetle that went a lot faster than the one I owned. And I've never owned anything that would go as fast as the one that I'm driving right now. And I had a few fast cars, but none like this Toyota. Now we are coming up to the end of the lap, and this is lap number 6, so we're going to go back in for fuel again. Looking on the right hand side to see where the paint is. We're going to go in for fuel, and we're going to change the tires again too, just to see. We might as well keep clean tires on there, because the next time we got to go 4 laps before we're done. So we're going to put an extra lap of tire wear on, which shouldn't be a problem. Okay, now we're coming in, and we came in 4th. We came in 4th this time instead of 6th, so we got a little bit closer to the front, and our tire wear is about the same as it was the first time we came in, and we need about 3/4 of a tank of fuel to finish the race. don't know if that's true because we got 4 laps to do, so we should, well, yeah, 3/4, maybe a little bit more, depending on how hard you push it. Okay, let's get some new tires under there. We're already up to 5th. Fuel her up. And we're gonna do it one more time. Now we're leaving 6. We're leaving number 5th again. We're leaving 5th. So we've only got 4 cars in front of us. And there again, like I said before, I've said several times, I can pass 4 cars and still only be in 3rd place. It depends on if you've passed a car that's lapped or whether it's a car that hasn't gone in for fuel. There's lots of different reasons. Anyhow, makes no difference. Our mindset is go as hard as you can, push it. Don't push it to the point of spinning out around corners like this. Wait till you get to about right here, and then you can slowly increase the speed until you're full speed right here. And take it nice and wide, cut back to the inside. You know the routine. It's not hard, and then we just drop it to the floor and hope that we can catch up to those cars in front of us, because they got to be somewhere on the track. I saw one just up ahead here, but it could have been a mirage. I'm not sure, because sometimes the eyes don't work so well. There you go. Isn't it the force that we're supposed to use, because the eyes can deceive us? I prefer to look when I'm driving. I think I saw somebody way up top there. Not this kind of, yeah, there is somebody there in front of us. At this kind of speed, we'll catch it pretty quick. We got to go through that little turn again. And then we got another fairly decent passing stretch. All the way up to halfway up the lap. Cut them on the inside here. It's amazing at the speed that this car goes. I should have lapped everybody once already, because I pass them like they're standing still and then slow down to about the same speed through the corners. You would think that I would be way ahead, but I'm not. So we still got a few cars in front of us. Before this lap is done, the car that we just passed put us in 4th, so it depends. Anybody that's on the track yet would move us up a spot. Unless, of course, it's a lapped vehicle, which is highly unlikely after 7 laps or 6.5 laps at the speed we drive. A bit of an overshoot there again on that corner. Seems to happen quite often when I get into the latter stages of a race. I start to get tired and I don't have the concentration. I don't know what it is, but I lack a little bit. And like I said earlier in the race, it gives me a whole new appreciation for people that do this for a living. And I tell you, it's got to be one tough job. Now we're coming around here. We're almost finished this lap. As we're snaking through these little S corners. It's amazing that we've only seen that one car in this whole lap. It just doesn't make any sense. There's got to be more cars on the track for us. Ooh, overshot that one too. That corner there and the other one that I overshoot are 2 normal overshooting corners for me. I have to really concentrate for that. But like I said, I start to lose my concentration because I get tired near the end of the race. And we are finishing our 7th lap. Here we are, coming up, starting in the 8th, and we still don't see any cars in front of us. We must be in the very front. We must be in the lead, I would say. Oh, there's one coming out of the pit stop. The only thing that I can think of is that we're right in the front, and if there's 1 or 2 or 3 cars still in front of us, they're either quite a ways in front, or that's the only thing that could be. They gotta be in front of us. They can't be in the pit stop when we just passed it, because then they'd be behind us. Because nobody has passed me except for a few cars, and we passed them back. So nobody's passed me. So everybody who's leading has got to be in front. Well, we're gonna hammer down here and see if we can catch up to any cars that might still be in front of us. As we are fast coming up to a little part of the 8th lap. After this one, we've only got 2 laps left to go. Now this quick little turnaround. Down right here. Well, seems like a pretty lonely track for the Opafet to be racing on. See, this is the part that I really don't care for. I like to have other cars around me, and preferably in front of me during the race, because then you have somebody that you can try and catch up to. You can see how far away they are. You can see and tell how hard you got to push to catch them, because you can tell if you're catching them or not. But when you're in front by yourself, can't see behind you, the rear view mirrors don't show anybody, and there's nobody in front of you, how fast do you go? How hard do you push it? How much do you slow down around the corners? I have a difficult time with that. I don't know if you do too, but I have a lot of tough time with that, because it just, I start pushing it too hard. See, now we can see a car. Now we can see a car, and we know that every time we go around a corner, if we can see that car getting a little bit bigger, then we know we're catching him. And he's quite a ways ahead of us, and this is a nice stretch to catch up to a car. As you can tell, he is getting a little bit bigger, especially around this corner here. And now you know you can just kind of hold back a little bit so you can make these corners. See, that was my bad corner, and I did that one pretty good this time. And we're getting closer and closer to him. So you know you're moving up, you're moving ahead in the standings when you get closer to the car in front of you. And you don't have to worry so much about, am I pushing it hard enough or am I not pushing it hard enough? Because I've done that before when I was leading and I wasn't pushing it hard enough, and with half a lap left to go, I had a couple of cars pass me because I wasn't paying attention to the rearview mirror, which is another thing the Opafet does. My driving is nowhere near professional level. It's more fun, not even amateur level, just fun level, you know. So I wasn't paying attention to the rearview mirror. I slowed down a little. I guess I slowed down a little bit because, like I said, half a lap left to go, and 2 cars passed me, and I come in third. So I learned my lesson. What I like to try and do is find out who car number 1 or number 1 and 2 is, and then sit behind them until I get near the end of the race, and that's when you pass them. You know? Anyhow, that's not the case today. Today we are in our 9th lap. We got a car in front of us, and in this situation, we have no idea how many more are in front of him that we have to pass, so all we can do is just go for it. Go for it, keep the concentration up for another just under 2 laps. We can do it. We can do it, and so can you. I tell you, if you shy away from these long races, give it a shot. You might just end up surprising yourself. I know I did. Not with the fact that I win or lose, but with the fact that I enjoyed it. But this guy is really hard to catch. He keeps zipping away on us, but I think we're going to get him on the straights. On the straights here. Wow, he's fast, well, I'll tell you. But not as fast as the Opafet. Like I said, this car is like speed on wheels. Speed on wheels, a rocket with wheels, whatever you want to call it. I've never driven, any of the cars I've driven in Gran Turismo have been slower than this one. This has been the fastest one. Absolutely fast. Except for maybe the Tomahawk. The Tomahawk is also a very fast car. He's hard to control when he reaches top speeds. But this one is cool on this track. Now we got that little turnaround here again. Right here, and we just kind of glide through this, hit those corners, and then hammer down again and see if there's got to be. I'd hazard to guess that we're in third right now. We're in third place right now. We still got 2 cars in front of us. With that thought in mind, that's what we're going to assume, and we're going to push it a little to see if there's another car before this lap is over. Coming around the corner, we got that straight section again, but now we got the sun shining straight in our face as it's going down. It took us all day to do this race. Gran Turismo hours. Starting to enjoy a beautiful sunset, but like I said, no more rain. And it's highly unlikely that we're going to have any rain in that last lap. It's just not going to happen. I don't think the races are set up like that, so if we make it to the 10th lap, we're good to go. Now, take this corner. Perfect corner again. There we go. Well, we're getting better at some of these races, like I said. We're still working on it. There's a few things that I tend to do that I try to stop from doing. Not paying attention to the rearview mirror, not slowing down enough around the corners. Stuff like that. Just general common sense things that you should do. Now, as we're coming up around this corner, we're getting close to the end of lap number 9. Getting close. Not quite there yet. The pit entrance again, like you know, is on your right hand side up ahead here, and just kind of snaking through these corners until we get to the grandstands. Love the roar of the engine of this car too. I tell you, they sure make these cars sound and look as good as if they were real. And coming through the corner, and there we go. Ooh, cut that a little short. Okay, and we're in the last lap. Boy, that was a long race. We started at sunup, and we're racing all day till sundown. A little bit of rain this morning, but nothing really to worry about. Now, is this our victory lap, or is there any more cars in front of us that we can see that we need to catch up to and pass? If they're not too far in front, because if they're too far, we'll never catch up to them. I mean, this car is fast, but it's not lightning fast. Okay, around this corner we should be able to see. No, there's still not long enough track to be able to see if there's any cars in front of us anymore. Can't see any. Oh, is that? Looks like a car right in front of us there. Ooh. See, we are not number one. I bet you this guy is in the lead, or one of the lead cars, if not the lead car. Yeah, you're not going to be lead car for long. So we're going to pass him right here. Absolutely awesome race, I tell you. Absolutely awesome. I wonder if there's any more? Or if that's the last one that'll put us in the lead. It's starting to get dark. And here we're going to race up to the point of the track, the halfway point. Halfway point of the track, and when we turn that corner we might be able to see, it's a fairly decent straight section, we might be able to see if there's any more cars, but we're fast coming upon, oh, looks like there's one right there. Well, we're fast coming upon the end of the lap, and no more places to pass. Did I see one, or was I mistaken? Well, maybe I was wrong. I thought I saw a car moving. No, I was right. There he is. He's in the corner. Oh yeah, I just seen him. Wow. Now we got to pay attention and still slow down for the corners and not get too excited to be able to catch up to this guy and pass him. Because if you try to go too fast around the corners now, you run off or you overshoot, you won't catch up. That's for sure. But if you don't, if you still respect the track will respect you, and you should be able to catch up to them. Now, whether you're going to be able to pass them or not, that might be another question, because some of these corners here are pretty tight, and like I said, they're usually very difficult to pass. Anyhow, this has been one fantastic race, and if you stayed with me until the end, thank you for watching. I really appreciate you, and I hope to see you back again at Opafett Gaming real soon and enjoying more of my videos. In the meantime, we've been driving in a 1999 Toyota GT1 TS020 at the 24 Heures du Mans racetrack with me, the Opafett.